Hi everyone, hope you all are well. Long time no see. I unfortunately got Lyme disease, which has hit me like a ton of bricks and has been a right pain in the arse. So that's why I've been MIA. But I'm back again today and hopefully weekly once again. So I thought it was fitting to start back with a nice makeup tutorial for St. Patrick's Day. That's what we're creating today. So to kick off this look, I'm prepping the eyes with Max Painterly Paint Pot. It's great because it's tinted, so if you don't take your foundation across your lids like I do, it'll cover up any discoloration that you may have and it'll give you a nice base to start out on. Due to its creamy consistency, I then like to set that base in place before I start with my powder eyeshadow, and the powder I'm using today is the Essence All About Matte Compact Fixing Powder. It's just a nice, cheap and cheerful translucent powder that does the job, so I'm just using a fluffy brush just to dust this anywhere that I applied that base. My palette of choice today is the Palette Town eyeshadow palette from the Colourpop Pokemon collection. What an iconic collaboration, just look at those shades. The first one then I'm taking is Saffron City, which is this vibrant yellow. It's got a slight shimmer to it, and I'm taking this up on a fluffy brush from Coastal Scents, and I'm starting out by blending the colour back and forward in the crease of the eye. If you wanted this colour to pack more of a punch, you could use a white base, something like the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, but I'm using a light hand just to add a wash of this colour in the crease, just adding a couple of layers of it and then blending it out. It's just going to appear like a subtle halo over the greens that we apply later. I'm going to add a little more warmth to that yellow now, so I'm taking Vermilion City on another slightly smaller fluffy brush. This is a Blank Canvas Cosmetics E26, and I'm blending this slightly lower in the crease, taking it all the way across the crease and then fading it lightly up into that yellow while making sure not to cover it up completely. Next then, I'm taking the shade Tall Grass, which is a nice matte green, and initially I'm packing this colour onto the outer portion of the eyelid with a Blank Canvas Cosmetics E24 flat shader brush, and I'm using a brush like this because it's more dense than a fluffy brush, so we're going to get a better colour payoff. Once I've laid down that shade then, I'm going to just pick up a little more of that product on my brush. This time I'm using a Sedona Lace EB09, and I'm going to start to fade that shade out. This is the smallest blending brush that I've used so far, and I've chosen a small brush so that I can be more precise with my blending. Again, like with Vermilion City, I do want to fade out this Tall Grass shade, but I don't want to cover up all the work that I've done with the two shades that I applied previously. So I'm just taking my time with this shade now, blending it out across the crease, and then I'm fading it upwards and outwards. I'm not too concerned with the pigmentation at this point because you're not going to get both at this stage. You're not going to get nice pigmentation and a nice fade. It's one or the other. So I'm working on fading out that shade first, and then I can add another layer or two and build up the intensity, which is exactly what I'm doing now, little by little. Then I'm taking the shade Viridian City, which is this beautiful shimmery green. It actually looks a lot deeper in the pan than it does on the eyes. It just depends on what way the light catches that shimmer. But I've picked up this on another flat shader brush, and I've also spritzed my brush with some of the number 7 Pro Artist setting spray to really make those shimmery particles pop. And then I'm just patting this down and sweeping it across the inner half of the eyelid over to meet that Tall Grass shade on the outer corner of the eye. Now I'm moving down to the lower lash line and I'm repeating the process. So I'm taking that yellow once again and I'm sweeping this down along the lash line from outer to inner corner using a fluffy pencil brush. Then I'm taking the orange and I'm layering that over the top, just sweeping it down along there too. And then finally I'm going to take the green Tall Grass on another pencil brush and I'm repeating the same step once again. The green though, I'm going to focus more so on the outer half of the eye, and I'm just giving it a really good blend down there now. To add some depth to the look, I'm using the shade Fainted. It appears black, but it's kind of got a deep greenish blue undertone to it, so it fits in with the look nicely. I'm patting this into the outer third of the lash line with a Sedona Lace small shader brush, and then I'm sweeping it outwards on an angle up to the crease, and then I'm lightly going to start feathering it inwards back towards the lid. So I'm going to add a couple of layers of this shade, just making sure that it's at its darkest at the lash line and then that it fades out from there. And this just gives the eyes a nice lift, and applying the shade at an angle as well, it just helps to elongate the eyes too. So I'm going to then work my way down along the lower lash line with this shade as well, just keeping it to the outer third, and I'm keeping it much closer to the lash line than I did with the previous shades, just so that you can see that nice gradient. And then I'm going to take one of the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On eye pencils in the shade Street. This is just a nice deep dark green, and I'm lining the waterline with that. To add a nice pop to the inner corner, I'm using this double-ended product from Urban Decay. It's the Wired Transforming Liner. It's a black liquid liner on one end, and then this lovely iridescent powder on the other end. It's white with a green shift to it. And then I'm going to add a touch of Champion, just to add a really small amount of glitter. So I'm using that just on a pencil brush, adding it on top of that iridescent green around the tear duct. The lashes, I'm so sorry, I'm not sure which ones they are. They're ones that I've previously worn and I'd store them in a lash box, but any ones will do. And then I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk mascara to blend my own lashes in with the false ones, and then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you try this out for Paddy's Day. If you do, let me know, and I'll chat to you all really soon.